Today on Podcast Them Down. Brains. Oh yes. Oh, it's been so long since I've done a good brains. Yeah, so, Tim here from recently vacated Graves, True Zombie Metal. Nothing else matters at this point, for this episode, at least. And I'm here with Mike from recently vacated Graves, True Zombie Metal. You are the third longest tenured member of the band, I believe.
Other than Clinton.
Yeah, Clinton's number 2, and I'm number 1. Yeah, so
we have to kick Clinton out for a little bit. So
we can. We could if you want. All right. Clinton, write in if you don't want to be kicked out briefly. Well, no one ever gets kicked out of RVG.
That's true. I think everybody's still in it.
Yeah. If you look it up on Metal Archives, it's wrong. You know, it might have X members on there. No one's an X member. They're just, they just might not be performing, or you know, they're in send them down to the minors. Yeah, so I just wanted, you know, Halloween's here. Every year around Halloween we start going, it's time for RVG, and then it's always too late to get something done in time for Halloween, which is what happened this year.
Yeah, right.
This might be news to you, but the thing we were trying to get out for Halloween this year is going to be out after Halloween. We don't know when after Halloween, but we were on pace, and then some life happened, and then stuff slipped.
That's typically the problem.
Yes, but we do have some time to make it more of an event, more of a product. Anyway, it's going to be better, so don't feel like you missed out. So, anyway, I was thinking we could talk about the history of RVG, because there's plenty of stuff you know, but there's probably some stuff you don't know.
Yeah, there's probably plenty I don't know.
So RVG, you know, like most things, it started as a with a bunch of things coming together at the same time. So one of those things was Burning Shadows. This is back in 2003. So old. 2003. And but the Burning Shadows original singer and drummer both left in 2003. Right. So we had no one. It was we were trying to find people, and not having much luck, because this is before internets. I mean, there were
it was
internets,
around,
but
it wasn't like now. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So what I did, okay, so now I have lots of time on my hands, and don't know any drummers, don't know any singers, because you know, the bassist / singer left. So around the same time, I was at, I believe it was IHOP with my friend Brett. We were talking about how everything, all the bands have like very specific genres now, and there were in 2003, and there weren't like, you know, it wasn't like black metal. It was like adjective black metal, just like ISENMOR is Dual-Violin folk metal, whatever it is. Call up Nick.
Gooey Delic.
Yeah, so didn't you have a great word for it? Anyway.
I can't remember.
You had some way you ruined that word, and it was funny.
Oh.
So we were talking, and he goes, "What's next? Zombie metal?" And I was like, "Yes. Oh, that's brilliant." So he coined the term I tossed the true in front of it because this was, we're fresh out of or in the midst of, or whatever, during the true black metal wars. So, or true metal, for Manowar fans, I'm just like, yes, throw some true on there. So we wrote a song, and it was, it's on the first album, and it's called Brains. I didn't hit the thing. So the original idea was it's just slow and plodding, and the only word was brains. That was the original idea. Well, that gets real old real fast. This might have been 2002 or 2003. It all blends together.
Right.
So probably 2003. So, so we recorded this song. And I used Guitar Pro drums.
Oh, to actually render it.
Yeah. And
That's
this
awesome.
was probably predates Guitar Pro 3. It's like way long ago. And yeah, so that's where the drums came from. And since it's zombies, I did the screaming. And we stuck it up as one does in 2003 on mp3.com.
Beautiful.
And it shot up the mp3.com charts, and it was number 1, I think, for metal in Maryland or something like that.
Wow.
So I was blown away. So I was like, well, we have to do this again. So,
Yeah, clearly.
So, we thought, we already did the slow and plodding one. Let's do fast zombies. So we did Forever to Hunger for Brains, and that was the next one. And that's where the zombie monologues started happening. So there's, the instrumental breaks where it's just spoken stuff.
Right.
And believe it or not, I stole that from Cradle of Filth. So, Forever to Hunger for Brains came out. All right. So then fast forward. So that was probably in the summer. I think for Halloween that year, I was like, let's make some more. So quickly churned out The Revenant and Feasting on Your Brains. So basically there's half of the first album right there.
Yeah. There you go.
Written pretty quickly. And what's amazing about RVG is I can often, not always, just turn it on. Just sit down and go, all right, here's the new RVG. And I believe around Brains didn't have a solo, but Forever to Hunger for Brains had a long 4 solo trade-off. And that's where the zombie solos came in. So that first album is just like, the idea was Slayer solos, but your fingers are decaying. That was the whole idea.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
So, yeah, that's why there's tons of whammy and tons of just like fast notes that may or may not be in the key. It's just supposed to be Slayer, decaying Slayer.
Right.
So
yeah, it makes sense.
2004 comes around. All right, so up to this point, I've been doing all the recording. I think Brett had done some. He was probably on the original demos.
Right.
And summer 2004 comes. I can't get a job. I tried and tried, and basically no one called me back. So I said, I think I'm gonna try to go on tour. So, and 2003 and the latter half of 4, I was a roadie for a grind band. So, I had seen the way they did everything. They did everything themselves.
Right.
And I was like, they were doing everything on the super cheap. I was like, I can do this. So, that's exactly what we did. I did. I sat down and just emailed everyone who I could find with an email address and started booking a tour. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be on a tour, I need to have an album. So at the same time we're booking the tour, and by we, I mean I churned out the other half of the album in 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
So just writing, not recording.
Right.
Yeah, so that includes like the symphonic intro and outro, and
there's some good stuff, man. Like,
yeah,
I quite enjoyed that album.
Writing inside a box sometimes helps a lot. Reduces your variables.
Yeah, I definitely have done that sort of process for my own stuff, but it's always been kind of I don't know. I've never been that. It's usually for like a very brief project for a very specific purpose, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, that was the purpose. So the purpose was, at the time, I didn't know it was going to last.
Right.
I was just like, I want to go on tour. I want to get this album done. We'll see what happens.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So we reached out to Nate from Wither Soul.
Okay.
And so he had basically made some home recordings that sounded miles better than mine. So I was like, hey, can I come record? And I think around that time, Clinton got into the mix. So Clinton was on the first tour. And we practiced a few times, but like most of that album, I'm pretty sure hadn't been played by all of us at the same time until we were in the studio.
So let me sidetrack you for a moment here.
Sure.
So I've been friends with Clinton since high school, right? And Clinton, if you don't know Clinton, he's always. And why would you know Clinton if you're listening to this? He is an extremely intelligent computer hacker, in maybe like the very pedantic definition of the word. Like, he's very good at coding. He's very good at making stuff work. He's very Linux aware, all this nerdy stuff. And then one day he comes to me, he's like, "Oh, I'm in the zombie metal band." And I'm like, how the hell did this happen? Like, I had no idea he had this aspiration.
I don't remember how it happened. Like, I just knew he could scream, and so I asked him to join me. Oh, so that is a point I glossed right over. So I was doing vocals when Clinton got involved. We had I forget when I started pitch shifting my vocals, but now we were at the time, like every doom band had the angels and demons sound. So right. This is the same thing, angels and demons. So one high scream and one low scream, but yeah, so it blended together well. So recording the album was interesting because I got sick like on the way down.
Oh no.
So like anytime I wasn't playing or anything, I was just lying down.
Oh man.
Feeling miserable. Brutal. And of course my throat got fucked up too. So I think it actually added to the zombiness.
Right.
And this is pretty much what happened to James Hetfield when they were recording Kill 'Em All. He had a throat infection, so.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
So, I did not know that.
Yeah, so Nate did a great job. He got a better drum sound than I I did. We did use mic amps back in those days, but
long ago.
he had a vocal preamp, if you can believe such a thing. I was just plugging straight into the computer for the demos. So
Right.
yeah, so we just barely finished the album in that weekend, and went on tour. And I was like up late the day before we left, making the first copies of the album. And I did it wrong, and the booklet opens the wrong way. So if you have one of those, you know, that's like super rare.
Worth dozens of dollars.
Yeah. So on that tour, we sold them for something like $10 or $7 signed. And the tour was ridiculous. I mean, so this is before cell phones. This is before GPS. You know, we played Ithaca. We went to Woodstock, Illinois. We were supposed to play Detroit.
Wait. You played Woodstock?
Was it? It was. I think it was Woodstock, Illinois. Not.
That doesn't matter. You played Woodstock as RPG.
Well, no, because I'm looking up where it is. We didn't play because the 3 of the shows on the tour got canceled. So,
Wow.
But again, we didn't find out till we were there.
Oh God.
So like we're supposed to
horrible.
play a bowling alley in Detroit, and we show up and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And pretty much the same thing happened with the other one. So like, yeah, it was always weird. And, but we had some of the best shows ever, specifically the Peterborough, Ontario, Canada show, where, so in those days, we had the drums. So remember, we don't have a drummer. The drums were on a CD. You know, and there's like so much. I could do hours on probably just the tour alone.
Right.
But the drums were on a Discman, and we plugged it into a PA that we brought with us. And it was Clinton's PA, by the way. And
Oh yeah, I remember that.
yep, and
I remember that.
everywhere we went, I had to borrow a guitar cab because mine wouldn't fit in the van. And naturally, you know, I'm the founder of the band and all that. You know, I wrote the whole album except for one song. You know, I am the core of RVG. I let the other guy bring his cab, you know, because that was an argument. So
Oh God.
I'm just like,
Right.
fine, I'll leave my cab so you can have your cab. So anyway, so I had to borrow a cab everywhere we went. So, but in Peterborough, we played the whole set, all the drums on the CD. It was probably about 45 minutes. And we finished up and we were like, thank you. And then they go, oh no, you're not fucking done. I'm like, well, we don't know any more songs. So we had to play some songs over again. And they loved it. They loved it. So, you know, it all worked out.
That's great. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I know that happened to us with ISENMOR once, right? In Columbus. They were like, keep going. It's like, that was all our material. Like we literally don't have anything else. They're like, no, not an option. It's like, okay. That was pretty good.
Yeah. So we finished up the tour and came back, and I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, this solves all the problems of bands. You don't need to deal with drums or tearing down and setting up drum kits. You do have to tear down and set up a PA and all that. But so I immediately dove into writing the next full length. Former Human Sergeant. And based on the Doom character. Mm-hmm. And then Burning Shadows got its shit together. So RVG went to the back burner for a while, but ever since that first tour, I just gotta, especially around Halloween, I start going, I should do some RVG. Actually, it's usually the summer, because
that's about when you have to. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
if you're gonna get it done for Halloween, that's about when you have to start.
Yeah, exactly. So, one of the best shows was when we opened for Watain.
Wow.
At Jack's, and they very much the Watain fans very much didn't like us because they thought we were mocking them.
Oh no!
But it's not my fault. Zombie metal has black metal tropes and death metal tropes and doom metal tropes in it.
That's pretty funny.
Who'd have thought black metal fans would be so humorless?
It's a mystery. Surprise to all.
Yeah, so fast forward a couple of years, and I put out the DVD, which was all the tour footage, plus the 2005 tour, plus whatever else we did. And now,
does this have the kilt incident in it? The footage that you're talking about?
That was cut, but I think that incident is in there, is part of that video. Part of the video that went into the DVD.
Should we describe the kilt incident, or should we?
No, let's leave it a mystery forever. It wasn't my kilt though. Yeah, so with the around 2012, that's when things started really bubbling up again. So the RVG keeps going dormant, then releasing a bunch and then going dormant. And so our latest came out during the pandemic because suddenly there's all this time to work on stuff. So, and I know I leapfrogged you joining, but
that's not important.
Our new bassist or guitarist or whatever he is, our new multi-instrumentalist is works wonders with polishing the sound. So it's gone from like this really rough idea, stuff made quickly, to very relatively intricate, fast, tight, sometimes technical. It's not always fast, but
right.
Thanks to John. And we still don't have a drummer, and we will never have a drummer. I will say though, I did stop doing some of the things that I always insisted on. So one example is I was mad in 2003 that bands were tuning down everywhere. All the bands were tuning down. I'm like, you don't need to tune down to be heavy. And I believe Chuck Schuldiner agrees. They only tuned down to D because that was, it was heavy, but it wasn't like, so RVG was all in standard all the way up until Legions of Decay. And, but lately we've embraced the 7-string, still tuned to standard. So there's how we can weasel out of it. And then there might be one new song in drop A. But that's as low as we'll go. And there was and it's for a one-off. There was a show when there was an 8-string involved, but it sounded awful. Oh, it was so bad. So, and it wasn't my 8-string. So, the other thing RVG always does, true zombie metal, former human sergeant, consumed by death, legions of decay, devoured in decay. These are all 3-word album titles. That's on purpose.
That I did not know.
The second Dimmu Borgir sucked was when they stopped doing 3-word album titles. Abracadabra is the worst crap. It's unlistenable. You know, they Enthroned Darkness Triumphant, Spiritual Black Dimensions, Death Called Armageddon. It's all 3 words. It's always got to be 3 words. And another thing we've gotten away from a bit is recently vacated Graves, True Zombie Metal. That is the name of the band. And if you put that on a flyer, it takes up most of the flyer. So lately we've switched to RVG TCM for a lot of branding.
Right.
You know? In fact, it says right here, if you're watching the YouTube or the Twitch, RVG TCM. So,
you got that pretty good. I have the Twitch up on this screen. So
nice.
The Twitch.
The Twitch. I'm watching on the Twitch.
I'm one of the twatchers on Twitch.
Yeah, so I glossed right over you joining, so...
Yeah.
How about you remind me, because I don't remember.
All right. One day... So actually, okay. I have been playing guitar for a while. I'm not particularly good. I'm serviceable for what I like to play.
RVG is the band for you, then.
Yeah. So, you know, it's like I do what I need to do typically to play the music that I want to play. So Tim and I, you know, we were kind of, I would say, acquaintances. Like, you know, you invited me to a few parties, but we never really hung out much. We went to the same college. So I get a random email from Tim. It's like, hey, do you want to, we have a tour coming up. Do you want to be in RVG?
Oh, yeah, the tour's never stopped.
Yeah.
Got to keep touring. It's also the easiest band to book because it oddly has an appeal with punk and metal and whatever else.
Yes, you just kind of go in and do whatever. Yeah, so additionally, I had always been super nervous about playing shows, but I had taught a few college classes before then. And when I taught the college classes, I was like super nervous, but it was like, okay, I was thinking about it to myself when you asked me. I was like, well, when I teach a class, there's like 40 kids that I'm in front of talking, and they think I'm an idiot all the time. So if I'm playing on a show, at least there's a chance that they won't think I'm an idiot some of the time.
And there's usually less than 40 people there.
Yeah, there's usually less than 40 people. So I was like, well, yeah, let's give this a shot. You know, I basically lost all my I lost most of my fear of like not being a good enough player by being a mediocre teacher. You know, so it's like let's roll with it. So I believe I flew in. I think I packed my gear with you.
That sounds
and I
right.
I had work.
That's right. We picked you up at the airport and we held signs that said brains.
Yes, I remember. That was my first time meeting Ari. We had practiced a few times before, and then I think we immediately drove to Maine.
Sounds right. Oh, that was the show where we played for $11. That was some bullshit.
Yeah, and then like they told us where to stand on the stage, so I was like tucked behind the pillar, and then the next band had obviously played there before, so they like spread out, and nobody complained. God damn it! Oh boy.
I remember the bad shows probably as much as the good shows. You know?
Yeah. I remember.
I remember settling up. They're like, After expenses, we only made $22. I'm like, and we have to split the pay between you and the band that came from Bangor. This was in Portland. And I was like, we're from 12 hours away. You can give us the $22 that you made. I don't know who the fuck was supposed to be promoting that show, but they didn't do anything with the posters I sent. I know that.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
So that was that Peterborough, Ontario show. We had made a tour poster, as one does, and it's me, Ari, and Cobbins, the original bassist. He's still in the band, just hasn't played in a decade. And it's us in front of a mausoleum looking metal. It says recently vacated graves, true zombie metal. That's it. And we got to Peterborough and they're all over the fucking town. Because I sent them quite a few. Like, that was... I feel like that's a lost art. If you've made it this far into the episode, here's a free tip. Print up flyers, send them to the venue. Done. Hopefully, unless they're in Portland, Maine, they're going to hopefully put them up. You got to do it well enough in advance that people see them. Hopefully they put them up, around the place. But that's one less thing the venue has to do. And if you give them too much, they're going to want to do something with them. So, anyway, that's my tip. So you were saying.
Oh, yeah. So, we played that show. I think it was my first time driving, so I drove the van back and almost passed out on the way and almost killed us all. And I still feel horrible about that. This day.
Ari ran a red light in Indiana or the Midwest somewhere and almost killed us. So I'm the only one who hasn't almost killed us. Cobbins never drove.
Oh, there you go. So then we were staying at Kate's house for that tour. I guess I'm just describing the tour now.
Yeah, and that was... I forgot about it. You just reminded me of an incident.
Oh, is it the glass breaking incident?
The glass breaking.
So, so Kate was living with, and was it her cousin or?
Sounds right.
Yeah, and he made it extremely. It was made extremely clear.
I like that guy. He was great until someone who wasn't either of us pissed him off.
Yeah, it was made extremely clear to us not to leave out any glass drinks or cups, because they had a cat that would go and just knock them over. And his son would come over, and that was the play area. So
yep.
So then, of course, somebody left out a glass and it shattered, and I felt like a total tool. I think it was.
But it wasn't you. It should be stated for the record that it wasn't you, and it wasn't me, and it wasn't Kate.
Yeah, I don't think we were liked after that, which is too bad, because it was one of those things where I was like, no, this is total. Well, it's not like we didn't know, right? Like, we were told very explicitly. This needed to happen. So that was fun. I remember this. What else? We played we played a show where somebody's hair caught on fire. If you remember that was
I forgot about that too. Oh man. Maybe we should, I just wanted to focus on the the origins and stuff. And some of the tropes, just so we could have them in the time capsule and listen back to this episode.
Right.
But
so maybe I'm going to into specifics.
No. I feel like we need to have several episodes next Halloween or before the next release. We'll have another episode. We got to talk about these. But let's do the hair on fire episode. I mean incident.
Yes, so there was some like weird. We played like an indie venue, which was somewhere in Boston. I don't even remember the name of it, and I'm not even sure if we should say the name of it due to the way it's handled, I guess. But like, it was a pretty cool venue. I mean, it was like in a building up on a. It was like an art space, and I think it was just like used for indie shows, right?
Oh, this was in Boston, right? I believe
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. So in between shows, they would do something, and like I think in between the first band, there was like this weird. I almost want to say like burlesque-ish thing.
Yeah, I think that's the best description for it.
Yeah. So, and she was dancing or doing something, and at some point, somebody there was like a fire component. So somebody would take like a roller with it was like lit on fire, and they would roll it on her skin. And I guess the idea was supposed to be that you'd do it, and it would like evaporate quickly, so it just looked like it would be painful, but it was just like.
I don't think that would work on us. We just
no
go up.
I don't think so.
We're basically covered in tinder.
So the first time this happened, the girl was, I think, scantily clad, and then the second time she was more scantily clad, and there was like more risk of ignition, I guess. So I believe the second time they're doing this, and the person who was rolling this fire on her got too close to her neck, and then the fire went and just engulfed her bun. like she had her hair up in a bun. So I just remember I was just sitting there and I was like, oh, and then whoever it was just like grabbed her hair really quick and it went out. But I was like, oh, this is not good. This seems like a bad something about this is not well thought out.
Isn't there video of this somewhere?
Yes, probably.
I think there is.
It was very strange. I didn't know what it was, and I had no idea that it was going to happen. So I was like, I didn't know what this art was even called. Right? I say burlesque, but I don't know. And then it's like, okay, I just watched somebody's hair light on fire.
Part of the show.
So yeah, that was fun. That was exciting.
So, RVG has always also been a test bed for things. So, we did I did my first in-ears in RVG. And, I believe that particular in-ear unit is illegal now. I think the broadcast range is now bought up by the FCC, so we can't use it.
Yeah, I believe it was in the 700 megahertz range. FCC sold it to, I don't know if it's 700, but it's basically sold to cell phone companies now.
Yeah, and it was $1,000, which like it was one transmitter and 4 receivers, and it was like this was back when I could put $1,000 together. I don't think I could do that anymore. It would take me. How about it'll take me a few years? Please buy some recently vacated graves on Bandcamp, and then we can put $1,000 together and spend it on equipment. rvgtzm.bandcamp.com. So I got the plug-in. So another thing we did. That's also how I kind of got into video editing, because I think something clicked one day and I said, we have video of every show we played on that tour, because I brought a camcorder. I just stuck it somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I realized every song is played at the exact same tempo at every show. I could edit the video together. So I made some like rudimentary music videos just based on that stuff. And another thing, the
advantage to playing to a click as well.
Yeah,
which we have a much earlier episode where we talk about all this. But like, yeah, all of a sudden it's like, oh, when you play to a fixed tempo, You have a lot of options for the material that you generate.
Like that backing tracks episode is episode number 1.
Oh my God.
It was published on February 12th, 2021. So
at least it's in the same year. I can't believe I've been doing this for this long.
I know. And I recently revamped the release schedule because we actually had too much content. So, yeah. Hey, programming note if you made it this far in the episode. Every week's going to have about an hour and a half material. So whether that happens on just Monday or Monday and Thursday, depends on the week and the subject. But we had to get caught up on the Star Trek rewatch episodes. That's what happened. That's what sparked this whole thing, because somehow none of them are going to air in October. So we had to catch up. Anyway. So the other thing, this episode won't air until November, but we talk about the DMX lighting. We ran a lighting show for RVG. And, there's stuff that's only going to work in RVG, and that's one of them. So I would also be remiss if I didn't talk about the lead guitarists. We, for Consumed by Death, I reached out. So Andrew was our guitarist at the time. I don't know if you ever played with Andrew, but
I've only played with Kate, Ari, Clinton, and John, and you, I guess. That guy.
Yeah. And Nick.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We were forming ISENMOR, and RVG had a tour, so I was like, "Hey, Nick, this sounds familiar." I had a tour, and I was like, "Oh, I have to put a band together." Clinton wasn't available, so we got Nick, and now Nick is also on every release, even though Clinton is also on every release. So
now there's 3 vocalists.
It's just the zombie horde is growing. That's the whole point.
We're doing the ISENMOR vocal thing in RVG now, where it's just like, let's put it in there.
Keep it going. Yeah. So the what the hell were we saying? Oh,
something
lead
about
guitarist.
Andrew.
So Andrew was around, but not when we were recording. So I reached out to him to do leads, and he actually is on 2 releases that were recorded way after he moved out of the state. So he did great stuff. He's on Consumed by Death and Devoured in Decay.
Right.
Yeah. And I had Aaron, who is the Burning Shadows bassist. He plays guitar too, and I had him write some solos. I think I performed them on the CDs, but I don't like writing solos. I think everything I do is derivative. So I outsource it all. And then Ari wrote a solo too.
I'm no good at solos.
He wrote a couple of them. Yeah. So
he wrote
the Legions of Decay solo.
Didn't he write Miller's Field solo? Now.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I don't know why I know that, but I do.
Yeah, so once we can tour again, we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of recently vacated Graves, which is just ridiculous to me because, it started out as like one sort of a joke song, and it's like turned into this, I've toured more places with it. Well, maybe Fade to Black's been to more at this point, but for a long time, Fade to Black still hasn't been to Canada, but RVG has twice. So RVG has played in different time zones.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Yeah, it's great, and I'm looking forward. And there's no shortage of ideas either, by the way. So,
Yeah,
we have another. We have an idea for a concept EP. We've been doing that a lot. Concept EPs.
We've kind of fallen into like a zombified war.
Well, the next one's kind of breaking out of that, but then we're going right back into it. Yeah. Like the genre is war. It's kind of like zombie Sabaton. Only I feel like we treat war with more respect than Sabaton does. But that's a different episode. All right, so did you have any final thoughts before we do our promo review here?
Oh yeah. So one thing that I think is worth noting about RBG is that it's very. Tim mentioned earlier in the episode that you can just turn it on and off. So I think it more than any other. So I like to write music. Not that I've had much time to do so lately. But I've always had kind of a hands-off approach to RBG because it's like it's Tim's baby, and I don't want to fuck with it too much, or like insert myself where I'm. It's like going to a party where you're not invited. You know, it's like sorry, but I feel like at the same time RBG is also like much more amenable to just like random ideas from random people. So it's like if you like John, who's the as you said earlier, the new multi-instrumentalist.
I've played every instrument in RBG. I don't know if you have, but like we just need to do when it's time to do a show. We just gather together who's available. And if a hole needs to be filled, both either John or I could do it. So,
right.
Or you, if you want. I see a bass right behind you if you're watching on YouTube.
Yep. Yeah. There's no reason I couldn't play bass at ISENMOR. But yeah. So, but I think John came up with some ideas, and they're like, oh yeah, these are freaking awesome. So it's less like adherent to a very specific process, which is interesting. ISENMOR, I think, in order to make it work, really needs it's like we have to sit down and think about it really hard. I think with RBG, you can sit down and you can make it RBG with kind of minimal tweaking.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It really is like lower brainstem. Right. You're right the first time. Your instinct is correct when writing RBG. It has gotten more collaborative lately, because you wrote some stuff for Legions of Decay. I know for a fact you did Operation Orsiniuscopia.
Yeah. I might have had like some minor in All Shall Fall. I think that's what it was. It was like super, like a riff or something.
Yeah, but I think it's getting better with more people contributing, so long as they don't second guess themselves. Because remember, you're right the first time. Yeah, John has been writing more. I've pretty much handed all the lyrics over to Clinton, and he's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
You can give him nothing. It's like, here's the song, and he'll come up with a great concept. That's what happened on Devoured in Decay. You can also give him a song and half of an idea, and he'll come up with something awesome. So yeah, there's lots more RBG to come. It has unique problems, but I still think it's the best way to do a band. And it's all because there is no drummer. All right, so you ready for this promo? I'm ready. I think it's perfect. All right, out soon, Coffin Creep, Voids.
Oh.
I had to go with this.
So I think we should start a genre. Guess the genre based on minimal information.
All right. Yeah. The band is called Coffin Creep, and the album is called Voids.
Doom.
Nope.
Fuck.
So, the band is available for interviews.
Oh.
Anyway, that's what it says below their band photo. Oh, so maybe I should tell you a little more, and you can. I'll give you another guess. So it's a 3-piece. They're standing in a train yard between 2 freight trains with some cranes in the background. And yes, it's a black and white photo.
Ooh.
All right.
What are they wearing?
All right. I was hoping you'd ask.
Tell me
One
what
is
they're
wearing
wearing.
a sleeveless Motorhead shirt. One is wearing a hoodie with a leather jacket over it, and the other guy is wearing a black jacket, possibly a hoodie, a zip hoodie, over a band shirt I don't recognize. So 2 guys in coats, 1 guy sleeveless t-shirt. All have black pants or dark pants. Can't see their feet because of the scrub.
Oh. So, I mean, it's either thrash or it's black metal. I'm going to go towards thrash, but I'm not confident in my answer.
Yeah, I think that is a very good guess. It is not thrash.
Correct.
But I think it is a very good guess. It is Swedish death metal straight from the sewers of Malmo.
That might just be thrash, I think.
I'll give you half a point. So they said autopsy meets corpsest, dismember, entombed, and even the mighty Black Sabbath for a party, and this is the end result. This promo doesn't fuck around. So that's the entire text. And then that's the text. And then it has a track list, a lineup, and links. And then the artwork. So
wait, so the bands are Entombed, Dismember, Corpsest?
Corpsest.
I have not heard of Corpsest. How do I? Okay.
Yeah, you should look them up. Because it's autopsy meets Corpsest.
Okay. They are death metal. Lyrical themes are death, Lovecraft, and occultism.
Nice.
Interesting.
I'm okay with all of those.
But meeting, the Black Sabbath reference is definitely Doom. With Entombed, I mean, I know. I feel like Entombed is a bit of a hard band to peg down, but they're just sort of, I don't know, they just do their thing. I don't know if I would call them death metal. But I feel like though my answers were wrong, in spirit they're right. Both of them.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not going to disagree. So here are some songs on the album: Holes, Spaces, and Voids, Haze of the Void Witch, Molded by Wicked Disgust, Iron Whiskey. What? Let me keep going. Funeral.
Is it 3? Is Holes, Spaces, and Voids 3 songs or one?
There's one song.
Okay. Because Holes, Spaces, Void, Curse of the Void Witch would be really. I don't know why I would. It's just we're really into this void.
Funeral, Sepulture, Enigma. The next, I read this wrong. The next one is Out of the Necrophogs. I read Necrofrogs. Which, I don't know, this kind of works with the sewer.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Come Malignant Ghouls, Puking Necrophilia 2, and Necropolis spelled with a K. And then the guys in the band are Ed, Petta, and Matthias, but he goes by Steve apparently.
So that's really interesting because they're kind of they're thematically varied. You know, with the whole void thing, I would think it would be like this airy, like bleak, but then you have like puking. That was it. The sequel, this puking necrophilia.
Yeah, sorry, I scrolled down. Puking necrophilia 2.
I like that it needed a sequel for one.
So the artwork, Coffin Creep has a very thrashy looking logo to me. It's not like pointy,
Right.
you know, but it's
Oh yeah, I see it. It's like gouache. It's like a crossover thrash sort of look to it.
Yes, thank you. And then Voids, the album title, I believe, is written in the Lord of the Rings font. So, which is called Ring Bearer. And then the artwork's pretty cool.
Yeah, the artwork is amazing. Look at that.
I don't even know how you'd really describe it. It's sort of like a ghoul with
a cloaked ghoul.
A cloaked ghoul with its hands kind of clawing in front of it, and it appears to be puking some necrophilia.
Two.
And one of the eyes has been.
Is he okay? Is he eating a fairy, or is that just like weird? Do you see what I'm seeing? It looks like there's a leg there.
Yeah, I see I see limbs.
Yeah. This is a slick cover. If I saw this in a store, I would probably buy it because I'd be so curious. I'll say that.
Yes. Well, you can buy your own at Bandcamp. All right, this one's a little longer than usual. So here we go. grindtodeathrecords.bandcamp.com/album/voids. So,
all right.
Go check out Coffin Creep. You know, hopefully recently vacated Graves can make it over to Sweden. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Coffin Creep and recently vacated Graves.
Coffin Creep and RVG.
I'd also like to note is that Puking Necrophilia 1 is on their first album, Corpse Defiler.
Okay. So, do you need to hear the first one to appreciate the second one?
Maybe there's like a recap at the beginning.
Last time on Puking Necrophilia.
That's awesome.
Oh, that'd be good. All right. Yeah, so check out recently vacated Graves, rvgtzm.bandcamp.com. And obviously, the website for RVG is zombiemetal.com. So, and look out for us on tour. We'll be playing anywhere but Portland, Maine for $11.
$12 though, you got us.
We gotta go up to Bangor. That's what we gotta do.
And then split the money with the band from Bangor.
There we go. Like, no, we drove all the way to Portland.
Dude, I drove from like Edmondson Street. Come on, it took some gas.
All right. Until next time.